Oh, hope everybody's doing good. This is section 2 of chapter 4. It is snowing right now. I know you're looking at this a different day, but this is April 15th right now. Snow is coming down. Here we go. Gradually, Lenny's interest came around to what was being said. George says we're going to have alfalfa for the rabbits. What rabbits? We're going to have rabbits in a berry patch. You're nuts. We are, too. You asked George. You're nuts. Crooks was scornful. I've seen hundreds of men come by on a road and on the ranches with their bindles on their backs and that same damn thing in their heads. Hundreds of them. They come and they quit and they go home, and every damn one of them has got a little piece of land in his head. And never a goddamn one of them ever gets it. Just like heaven. Everybody wants a little piece of land. I read plenty of books out here. Nobody never gets to heaven, and nobody gets no land. It's just in their head. That's all the time talking about, but it's just in their head. He paused and looked toward the open door, for the horses were moving restlessly and the halter chains clinked. A horse whinnied. I guess somebody's out there, Crook said. Maybe Slim. Slim comes in sometimes, 2, 3 times a night. Slim's a real skinner. He looks out for his team. He pulled himself painfully upright and moved toward the door. That you, Slim? He called. Candy's voice answered. Slim went into town. Say, you seen Lenny? You mean the big guy? Yeah, seen him around any place? He's in here, Crook said shortly. He went back to his bunk and lay down. Candy stood in the doorway, scratching his bald wrist and looking blindly into the lighted room. He made no attempt to enter. Tell you what, Lenny, been figuring out about them rabbits, Crook said irritably. You can come in if you want. Candy seemed embarrassed. I do know. Of course, if you want me to. Come on in. If everybody's coming in, you might just as well. It was difficult for Crooks to conceal his pleasure with anger. Candy came in, but he was still embarrassed. You got a nice, cozy little place in here, he said to Crooks. Must be nice to have a room all to yourself this way. Sure, said Crooks. And a manure pile under the window. Sure, it's swell. Lenny broke in. You said about them rabbits. Candy leaned close against the wall behind the broken collar while he scratched the wrist stump. I've been here a long time, he said, and Crook's been here a long time. This is the first time I've ever been in his room. Crooks said darkly, guys don't come in a colored man's room very much. Nobody been here but Slim. Slim and the boss. Candy quickly changed the subject. Slim's as good as a skinner as I ever seen. Lenny leaned toward the old swamper. About them rabbits, he insisted. Candy smiled. I got it figured out. We can make some money on them rabbits if we go about it right. But I get to tend him, Lenny broke in. George says I get to tend him. He promised. Crooks interrupted brutally. You guys are just kidding yourself. You talk about it a hell of a lot, but you won't get no land. You'll be a swamper here till they take you out in a box. Hell, I seen too many guys. Lenny here will quit and be on the road in 2-3 weeks. Seems like every guy got land in his head. Candy rubbed his cheeks angrily. You goddamn right we're going to do it. George says we are. We got the money right now. Yeah, said Crooks. And where's George now? In town in a whorehouse. That's where your money's going. Jesus, I've seen it happen too many times. I've seen too many guys with land in their head, and they never get none under their hand. Candy cried. Sure they all want it. Everybody wants a little bit of land. Not much, just something that was his. Something he could live on, and there couldn't be nobody throwing him off it. I never had none. I planted crops for damn near everybody in the state, but they wasn't my crops, and when I harvest them, it wasn't none of my harvest. But we're going to do it now, and don't you make no mistake about that. George ain't got the money in town. That money's in the bank. Me and Lenny and George. We're going to have a room to ourselves. We're going to have a dog and rabbits and chickens. We're going to have green corn and maybe cow or a goat. He stopped, overwhelmed with his picture. Crooks asked, You say you got the money. Damn right. We got most of it, just a little more to get. Have it all in 1 month. George got the land all picked out, too. Crooks reached around and explored his spine with his hand. I never seen a guy really do it, he said. I've seen guys nearly crazy with loneliness for land, but every time a whorehouse or a blackjack game took what it takes. He hesitated. If you guys would want a hand to work for nothing, just as keep, why, I'd come and lend a hand. I ain't so crippled I can't work like a son of a bitch if I want to. Any of you boys seen Curly? They swung around their heads toward the door. Looking in was Curly's wife. Her face was heavily made up, her lips were slightly parted. She breathed strongly as though she had been running. Curly ain't been here, Candy said sourly. She stood still in the doorway, smiling a little at them, rubbing the nails of one hand with the thumb and forefinger of the other, and her eyes traveled from one face to another. They left all the weak ones here, she said finally. Think I don't know where they all went. Even Curly. I know where they all went. Lenny watched her, fascinated, but Candy and Crooks were scowling down away from her eyes. Candy said, Then if you know, why you asked us where Curly is at? She regarded them amusedly. Funny thing, she said. If I catch any one man and he's alone, I get along fine with him, but just let two of the guys get together and you won't talk. Just nothing but mad. She dropped her fingers and put her hands on her hips. You're all scared of each other, that's what. Every one of you scared or the rest is going to get something on you. After a pause, Crook said, Maybe you better go along to your own house now. We don't want no trouble. Well, I ain't giving you no trouble. Think I don't like to talk to somebody every once in a while? Think I like to stick in that house all the time? Candy laid the stump of his wrist on his knee and rubbed it gently with his hand. He said accusingly, You got a husband. You got no call fooling around with other guys, causing trouble. The girl flared up. Well, sure I got a husband. Y'all seen him? Swell guy, ain't he? Spends all his time saying what he's gonna do to guys he don't like, and he don't like nobody. You think I'm gonna stay in that 2x4 house and listen how Curly's gonna lead with his left twig, and then bring in the old right cross? 1-2, he says, just the old 1-2, and he'll go down. She paused, and her face lost its sullenness and grew interested. Say, what happened to Curly's hand? There was an embarrassed silence. Candy stole a look at Lenny. Then he coughed. Why, Curly, he got his hand stuck in a machine, man, but bust his hand. She watched for a moment, and then she laughed. Baloney! What do you think you're selling me? Curly started something he didn't finish. Caught in a machine. Baloney! Why, he ain't give nobody the good old 1-2 since he got his hand bust. Who bust him? Candy repeated sullenly. Got it caught in a machine. All right, she said contemptuously. All right. Cover him up if you wanna. What I care. You bindle bums think you're so damn good. What do you think I am, a kid? Why, I tell you, I could have went with the shows, not just one, neither. Any guy told me he could put me in the pictures. She was breathless with indignation. Saturday night. Everybody out doing something. Everybody. And what am I doing? Standing here talking to a bunch of bindle stiffs. A Negro and a dum-dum and a lousy old sheep. Ain't liking it because they ain't nobody else. All right, that concludes Chapter 4, Part 2. Chapter 4, Part 2. Join me for Chapter 4, Part 3 momentarily. See you guys.